Hi guys, how is everybody today? So welcome everybody. We're going to have a fairly short little outline. We're going to have an opportunity for everybody to get up and say something if they would like to. I know everybody has a story about Gene, and I know every story about Gene's a good one. At this time, we'll have Jim Ford, please.
Thanks, Josh. I'll try to live up to some of that. I was proud to have Gene as a friend. We were good friends for about 10 years. We were back fence neighbors in the Mountain Club. Over the past 10 years, Gene and I worked on several Mountain Club projects together. Refurbishing the clubhouse bus shelter, installing metal signs at our playground, taking down our wooden entrance signs so Holly could refinish them, and then reinstalling them. It was impossible for me to keep up with Gene on digging post holes in our rocky soil. He said he was using his PhD, post hole digger. Gene made his life one of value and service. He was a very admirable, wise, gifted, and capable man, a dedicated and skilled leader, and a good friend whose life touched those of many others. He'll be sorely missed by all who knew him.
Thanks, Jim. Our next speaker is Keith Fleming. Keith, come on up.
I think it's a privilege, actually, for me to be able to speak about a little bit about what I knew about Gene. Even though Gene was out there with the P&Z and the Mountain Club and Powwick and who knows how many other things, he was also a private man. And so it was interesting to see that, Gene did have a side to him that he didn't necessarily want to have exposed, and not that he had anything to hide, but it was like, I appreciated the fact that there was a space for him to go, I don't need to go to every event, that type of thing. And I knew that. I don't know if anybody else did. So I like that balance in Gene. And so finally, I guess I just wrap it up to say Gene was a special friend of mine, and I will miss Gene, but I will never forget Gene, and I doubt many people will. Thank you.
We have a letter from a co-worker of Gene's from his Area 51 days, Bob Scott. Dear Holly, it's with a very heavy heart that I read of Gene's passing, and I'm writing this to you. You and I have never met, but my name is Bob Scott. Gene and I met over 50 years ago at Area 51 and became very good friends. Gene had many, many friends, and I'm proud to count myself among them. After Gene transferred from Torrance to Phoenix, our contact was pretty much limited to emails. Both of our hearts go out to you during your time. Our very best regards, Bob and Barbara Scott. Our next speaker is Jim Stewart, who served on the Planning and Zoning Commission with Gene.
I first met Gene in 2003 when I was appointed to the P&Z. Gene and I both served on the Yavapai County Planning and Zoning Commission, representing District 1. Gene has been and will be missed by all that had the pleasure of knowing him. One of the things that I have here is that Gene is gone. We can shed tears that Gene is gone, or we can smile because he lived. We can close our eyes and pray that he will come back, or we can open our eyes and see that he has left. Our hearts can be empty because we can't see Gene, or we can be full of friendship that he shared. Or we can do what Gene would want: smile, open our eyes, love, and go on. We will miss Gene, and we will see him again. Thank you.
Our next speaker is somebody we just got to meet and wish we had met much sooner. Teresa Kerkman is Gene's oldest daughter.
The first thing I'm going to do is read a letter that my dad's sister Marlene sent. And there's a beautiful picture, I think, that Holly brought that's on the table of his brothers and sisters and his parents. And as you know, my dad grew up in Nebraska. I'm going to read what my Aunt Marlene sent. She said, "My brother Gene was a feisty young boy almost 5 years older than me. I remember playing games with him and my brothers and sisters when our cousins came to visit out on the farm. I remember Gene being very popular as a young man. There was a time when he was in high school, he had 2 girlfriends that both lived in the area. He once wrote letters to 2 different girls he was dating. Gene accidentally mailed the wrong letters to the girls. Betty Jo got Connie's letter, and Connie got Betty Jo's letter, and which caused him a bit of trouble. Gene traveled the world with his work. I always thought he lived an exciting life. I will have fond memories of our long conversations. I will miss you, Gene, your sister Marlene." So thank you to Marlene for that story. The story that I chose to share with you about my dad is what an incredible grandpa he was. It's my daughter Leah. The last thing my dad said to me when I left was to tell me how much he loved Leah. He showed that to her in so many ways. I'm sure that many of you who knew him probably mentioned her to you a few times or more, if you knew him well. Papa bought Leah her first tricycle, her first Red Flyer red wagon, her first wooden art easel set, and so on. You kind of get the idea. Last year when Leah turned 14, Papa gave her a piano, which she has learned since learned to play. I'd like to share one of my favorite scriptures that gives me peace and hope. It's from John 14, 1 through 3. "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God. Believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am." Thank you.
Lots of people have said that you can tell a man's character by the quality of his friends and family. And looking out here, I know that each of us has been blessed to have Gene as a member of their family or as one of their friends. And I think it's a reflection on each of us that we got to call Gene our friend. And it makes me proud to have known him. I thought long and hard about a toast and could not come up with anything else better than that. So if you have a drink, I would like to raise a toast to my friend Gene. Cheers.